Hello guys, in this video tutorial I will show you how to create the exhaust manifold in FreeCAD Part and PartDesign Workbench. So let's start, open the FreeCAD and activate the Part Workbench. Okay, and let's create the cylinder with hole, tube, and set the dimensions. It will be the radius 10 millimeters, 1 millimeter the thickness of the pipe, and the length of this tube. Okay. And after that, let's make the copy. It will be Ctrl C and Ctrl V. And you will get one else tube, and for this let's change the position. We will rotate it in Y direction for Y axis and translate it in Z direction. It's 100 millimeters. Okay, and also let's change the length of this tube. Okay, and let's make the one else copy of this tube and change the position in that direction. Okay, you can change it here in the properties, and let's make one else tube. Okay, and let's choose all these tubes and let's make the join operation and connect these pipes. Okay, how can you see we have connected these pipes, and if we will make the refine true, we will delete some artifact with edges where the pipes intersection. Okay, and the next step is let's go to the PartDesign Workbench and let's create the model with activated connect in 3 model. Okay, so let's create the plane. We have to choose the mapping our plane with XY planes and make the translation in that direction. We also can to map our planes with model faces, but it can be some troubles if we will change the topology of our model. So we will create the planes choosing the XY plane here. So, and after that, for this plane we create the sketch, 2D sketch with dimensions of this tube. Okay, after that let's hide the datum plane, it is space bottom, and let's make one else datum plane for a XZ plane. Okay, click OK, and let's create the sketch for this plane. Let's set we have to create the arc. Let's choose this tool and change the direction of this arc here, and we have to set the position of these points. For this we will be using the constraints. Let's connect our points with axis line and let's set the vertical position. It is 140 millimeters here, and now we cannot to change this point position. And let's set the length of this arc in y direction. It is 25 millimeters, I think is enough. Okay, and set the horizontal dimension for this point also. And 30 millimeters, change it, and let's close the sketch. And after that, let's hide our datum plane and make this sweep operation using the sketch and the path. Okay, so now we have created this part of the model. It looks good. So let's, in the next step, let's continue to create this algorithm, create the plane, choose this XY plane, and change the position of datum plane. We have to translate our datum plane here. It is half of pipe of manifold. Okay, let's create the sketch for this datum plane and choose the top in the cube, and we have to create the elbow. So let's set the position for this point. Let's choose the horizontal dimensions, but we have the false because we have some troubles with constraints, I think. So we have to delete it and try again. So now it works good, and let's set the length for these lines. After that, let's make the field operation. And how can you see this operation delete our constraint because the topology of this sketch is changed. So let's again to set these dimensions. And set the radius. But we have the troubles with constraints because we can change. We have to set the horizontal constraint for this, and we can to change the radius here without troubles. Okay. So now just let's choose our circle and set the radius dimension. Okay. So we have the fully connected sketch here. Let's close the sketch and now hide the datum plane and create one else datum plane. And for this we will be using the ZY plane. Okay. Let's choose it and change the Z direction in the direction position. Okay, looks normal position. Okay, and let's the toggles. But we can to import our external point from another sketch and create the two toggles. Okay, let's set the dimensions for here. It is 9 and 10 millimeters radius. Okay, let's close the sketch, and now we have the two sketches. So for our toggles, let's create the sweep operation and choose the path. Object, path, and click OK. It will create the elbow for our exhaust manifold. Okay, let's go to array, linear array, and set the axis and number of elbows and lengths for our linear array. Let's make the refine true. It will delete some defects, and now we have these 3 elbows for our manifold, and let's choose this datum plan and create the sketch for this datum plan. Okay, and now we have to create the 1/else elbow. And set the length for this line. It will be 40, but it is. Let's set some bigger length, 45 millimeters. It looks where we have the edge of the previous elbow, and let's set the length for this horizontal line. Let's close the sketch, but the first we have to make the field operation for this, of course. Okay, let's make it, and it will delete the dimensions because the topology is changed. So let's again set the dimensions for here. For faster creation of the sketcher, we have to create the topology, and after that to set the dimensions, because if we will delete the topologies, it will delete the dimensions. It will very long if we will repeat the creation of dimensions, of course. Okay, let's close the sketch. And let's hide our datum plane, space bottom, and create 1/else datum plane. I want to check, maybe we have it here, but we don't, and let's create 1/else datum plane for XY plane without changing of position. Okay, and for this datum plane, let's create the sketch with 2 circles, but for we cannot to choose this point, I think. Yes, yes, we have the trouble with position of the center of this circle. Let's just delete it, and I think the trouble with view. And let's go to the sketch and go model and hide our 3D model, and in another side let's try to choose our point. So yes, of course it is works now. We can to set the central with central of this coordinate system, and set the 2 circles for our tube. Okay, looks correct. Let's close the sketch and let's make the sweep operation again, and choose the path. Click OK, but we have the false. I think it is because we have the intersection here. Yes, we have to change the length of this part, set it 25 and try again. Let's choose the path for sweep, and now it looks and works good. Yes, and now let's choose our previous steps and make the linear array for him. We will make the linear array for elbow, and let's make the reverse direction. It will be one copy with length of the array. We have to set the correct length. Okay, it will be 30, I think, maybe 35. It is not enough. Let's set the 40. No, the 40 is not enough also. 45 millimeters. Yes, it is correct length for this array, and make the refine true operation. So now we have finished to creation the all elbows for our manifold. And the next step will be creation of the flange for our elbows. So let's create the datum plan, and we have to choose the XZ plane for this, but now it has some troubles. Okay, I will delete it and create again. I think it will help. Okay, let's choose the exit plan. Yes, I think it will be here, the false. Okay, and let's make the translation of this plane in no, it is in Z direction, of course. Let's set the right number of that direction. It 25 millimeters. Yes, it is correct. And for this datum plan, let's create the sketch. And here, if we want to know where our center is for our elbow, we can import the external circle, for example, and I think we can create, we can start with rectangle, but now let's create the circle for our flange. For this, let's check this center length. It will be 65. Okay, and let's create the circle. Choose it and create it here. And after that, we have to set the position for this center. Let's set it at 65, but we have the false with constraints, and we have to delete this constraint and set again the length. It will be 65. Okay, and after that we have to create the lines. Set the radius for this circle. Okay, let's set this 16, but we have the trouble with position of center of circle. Let's set it is 20, and we have the constraint, the tangential line with this circle. Let's set it here. After that, let's create one else line, and for this line we have the random position, and let's set the one else constraint. It will be also tangent condition, and let's set the position of this point on the circle. It will be horizontal dimension. Let's set 4 or 5. Okay, and set the position of a point also 5 millimeters. So now let's choose these two lines and set the equal condition, and if I will change the point position, it will change another line also. And let's connect these 2 points. It's not correct. Let's just delete this line and make the connection using the arc by 3 points. Okay, and let's set the random position here. Okay, let's set the tangent condition here also between these two lines, circle and line. And now we can just set the radius for this, and we will get the fully connected sketch. Okay, to set the 7 millimeters. And now let's go to the one important thing. Let's choose this toggle constraint. Let's create this blue line. This blue line doesn't have, we cannot create some things with two blue lines. We will use it like axis for symmetry. Let's choose it all our lines and create the symmetry. The last line will be this blue line. Okay, and we have the symmetry here, and let's make the trim for circle, and we have here the flange. Let's change the mode of the toggle constraint of the sketch and create the 2 holes on our flange and set the radius. Okay, let's set the 3 millimeters radius. I think it's enough here. Okay, let's close the sketch and make the extrusion operation. It's part operation. Okay, but we doesn't have the hole, central hole, and let's create one else circle in central of this flange. Okay, let's set the 9 millimeters radius, and let's try again make the pet operation. Choose it here. Let's set the thickness of the flange 2 millimeters. Let's hide the datum plane, and we have our flange here. It looks good. And for our flange, we can to change some dimensions, for example, but I will be set the default. Okay, and now for our flange, let's make the linear array again. Let's choose the linear array icon and set up the direction, the number of the flanges and length. Okay, looks good. Click OK, and we have to create the one else flange. Let's choose the our flange, but in previous step we have the pattern array, and let's choose the pad from tree and try again to create the linear array. We have to set the length, the number of arrays, and the direction. It will be reverse direction, 45 millimeters length. Okay, it's good, correct, it looks correct. And make refine true, it will delete some artifacts. And I will show you now how to create the plane in Sketch on the surface. If you choose, so it's false, let's cancel, and if you choose the surface and create the sketch on the surface, you will get the sketch on the surface. Okay, and now let's import the external edges of pipe and connect our circles with this. Okay, and you will get the correct sketch here, but this approach you will get the troubles if you will change the topology of the model. So I will recommend to create the planes, and on the planes create the sketches. Okay, let's create the flange. And for this flange we have to set the holes position. Okay, let's import the circle from the model and set this circle. This approach with Sketcher on faces speed up the creation of the models, of course, because you can just choose the surface, create the sketch without setup of translations, rotation of plane, choosing the planes, of course. And now let's just to set the hole in this y direction, and let's just delete this circle and set the position, vertical position of the center of hole here. This let's choose these 2 points. And close the sketch. After that you can make the cut operation. It's bucket called in PartDesign, and click OK. After that let's make the circular array here, but we have to choose the right axis. This axis we doesn't have it in default axis, and so for this we have to create one axis, it is line, and choose the mapping it with circle. it will create the right position of the axis, and for the circular array we can choose our hole, create the array and choose the reference axis and set the number of holes. Okay, so just hide the datum pane. We have finished with creation of exhaust manifold. Let's make the last operations refine true, and let's change the material for our exhaust manifold. Go to the appearance, choose the material here, for example this material, and just close. So we have finished this creation, this model. Thank you for watching, subscribe to the channel, goodbye.